Hi. Yeah, welcome in. This is our little fall pop-up. Yeah, we're just a little pop-up palette shop. Really just for the fall. Do you have a moment? I'd love to tell you about some of these. Yeah. Yeah, no. Yeah, I've got a chair. Okay, great. I hope you don't mind. It's more of a stool than a chair, but it's still a place to sit. Rest your feet for a little bit. And don't worry, there's no pressure to buy anything. I really have been waiting for someone to come by today. So this is our little fall pop-up. Now, these things are a variety of prices, but they are all eyeshadow palettes. And we do have a bundle deal going on. So if you buy one, it's a certain price, and then 2, 3, 4, if you buy them all, it's a cheaper price per palette. But, again, no pressure to buy anything. We're just happy you're here. So let's get started. We have, let's see, with Halloween coming up, were you looking for makeup for a costume? Just fall makeup? Did you have anything in mind? Oh, okay. Yeah. I feel like with what we have on offer, we'll be able to accommodate that. But if you have any questions, feel free. You can interrupt me at any time. I know I'm a little chatty. Yeah. Let's start with one of the smaller options that we have in size. It does have quite a few colors in it, but yeah, as far as the size goes, it's the smallest one that we have. Let's see. So this is from a brand called JCat Beauty. And this is their Dia and Noche palette. This one is the Dia palette. And as you can see, it does have names of all of the shades, but they're not printed on the palette itself. And then, of course, these palettes are all just testers. If you were to buy any palettes, we would pull out a brand new one. They all come with boxes and all that good stuff. So this is the Dia palette. It does say it right there. Now, this one is really beautiful for fall. It has a lot of fall tones. You've got your orange, your olivey greens, some golds. It does have some pops of blue, like those, cool blue skies that sometimes happen. I do think this is a good everyday palette. As far as the color story, you could really wear this to the office, or you could even, dress it up for a night out. You could use it for a costume if you really wanted to. It's got a decent amount of product in it. And this one is one of our more reasonably priced palettes. This palette is only $5 on its own. Yeah. So this one, I can't believe it myself. I feel like that's a really good price. But yeah, I like this one for fall. It's got a nice snap closure. It is plastic, so it's pretty sturdy. Now, this one is actually, instead of a part of the buy one for a certain amount, if you buy 3 palettes, we will give you that one for free. Yeah, totally free. Because it's such a small palette and it's good quality, but it's not as expensive as the rest of these are. So it's kind of a little different. So next up, we'll just kind of work our way back. Next up is one from a brand that I don't think a lot of people talk about anymore, but Urban Decay, their Metal Mania palette. It's got a full-size mirror inside, and as you can see, it's pretty neutral until you get to this kind of middle bit right here. It's got a few shades that are really bright. This is another one I feel like it works for any season, not just fall. And you could again do some makeup items with it for like a costume. I've seen people use this shade for like a lion, like doing kind of a lion based eye look. It does come with a brush. It again has that mirror. It's got a nice snap together case. It does have these beautiful like star details on it. It's from Urban Decay, which is, you know, they're not as hyped as they used to be, but the quality is still good, especially in this palette. The quality is definitely still there. Now, next up, this is from a smaller brand. This is called What's Up Beauty, and this is their Dragon Eye palette. This one would be good if you're doing like a dragon or a fairy even. Something really shimmery for a costume. If you wanted like some costume makeup, or if you wanted to use like one of these shades as like a highlighter to kind of add some interest, if you will. I really recommend this palette, and the shades are actually magnetic. So if you did want to pull these out, you could rearrange them. Both the Urban Decay and the JCat Beauty are not magnetic. Yeah. And this one's really beautiful. It goes from, you know, light to dark. It's got a lot of shimmer options. The shade Scales as a liner is gorgeous. Yeah, it's their Dragon Eye palette. And then we'll keep it moving. I don't want to take up too much of your time, you know? So, yeah. Next up is the Natasha Denona Sunrise palette. This one is a little squeaky, but this is a beautiful palette for fall. You could, of course, use it as a like costume palette for makeup. I mean, the reds are good if you're going for something, you know, a little more spooky, a little more gory. Yeah, like you could really do a lot with it, but this to me is just an everyday beautiful palette. I've actually seen a lot of people use this for like winter holiday makeup, so like New Year's parties, things like that. It's got a big mirror, and again, the shadows are magnetic, so you can remove them. But they also have these little holes on the back. That way you could take like a sewing needle or something small, like a toothpick even, and just kind of poke the shades out if you wanted to. Yeah. So you can totally rearrange that palette. This is the order that it goes in. But yeah, you could rearrange it. So next up we have, I think we should start with this one, the All Done Up. This is from Blend Bunny, and they are an independent brand that is very well loved in the independent makeup community. They have multiple palettes, and the quality is phenomenal. Yeah. So this palette, I'm sure you can see why we chose it as a part of the fall pop-up. It's very fall toned, especially over here, but you could really do a lot with these shades for like a Halloween costume makeup, or for, you know, like going out. You can really do a lot with it. And I know this row, like they look really similar, but they are definitely different on the eyes themselves. Yeah, like you can see there's like a black, green, there's like a cool tone brown, a red, and then like more of a warm tone brown. Yeah, it's gorgeous. And these shimmers, so beautiful. Yeah. So then next up here, we'll do the other Blend Bunny palettes. This one is pretty divisive. This is a good one for Halloween makeup. It's also really popular in the summertime. And I will show you why. Let's see. So, for this one, it's got some raised lettering, which is beautiful. So this palette, I'm going to shift some things around here so you can see a little better. As you can see, it's half like very warm toned pinks, purples, oranges, and then it's also half like cool tone with like the greens and the blues. It's gorgeous for, you know, doing special effects makeup or things like that, but it's also it's just a really good palette to have around if you're, you know, not wanting to carry a lot of shadows, but you want to have a lot of options. We've actually seen this be picked up by high schools for their drama department to just have on hand. Yeah, because there's a lot you can do with it, especially for like stage makeup. Not that, you know, the average person is using it for stage makeup, but it's kind of nice to know that you could. So we'll continue on to this side here. So these are from Lethal Cosmetics and Teresa is Dead. And these are the Lethal is Dead and Teresa is Lethal palettes. Now, these aren't stereotypically Halloween palettes. However, I do believe they were released in the fall. And when I open them, you'll see why we chose them for our fall pop-up. Yeah. So this is the first one that was released, and this is Lethal is Dead. And yeah, as you can see, this one's gotten a lot of love. It's got shades like Final Girl, VHS, no, sorry, The Final Girl, Straight to VHS, Spellbound, Body Snatched, Ancient Evil, Vengeful Spirit. These are all gorgeous shades, and especially for fall, you can really do a lot of like fun, kind of moody looks with them. Yeah, I absolutely recommend this one. It's gotten a lot of love through the years. Then for the next one, we have, I do love the magnetic closure on these. And these are also removable shades. The Blend Bunny ones are not. But Lethal Cosmetics does magnetic shades as well. So theirs are removable should you want to rearrange things. So next up, we have Teresa is Lethal. And this one, it just screams fall to me. Yeah, it really does. It's got like this beautiful gray, this teal shade. Like, I just truly, truly love it. Yeah. And let's see. Yeah. This one is gorgeous. I really love the shade Hive Mind. It's so fun. Like, if you were gonna do something a little more like on the gory side of things, absolutely recommend. Oh, I bumped into you there. So now our next one, this one comes from kind of across the world. This is from Glaminatrix Cosmetics. They are an Australian brand, and this is their Sugar and Spice palette. Now, this one is a top seller for us, and you will see why. Right? It's gorgeous. This one is lovely all year round, but we do sell the most of it in the fall. It's got, you know, all these neutrals, but it's also got like some nice warm tones. The shade Mustard is gorgeous. They're all fantastic. There's shifty shades in here. They're just wonderful. Yeah. I truly love this one. You can do like very spring colored looks, you can do deeper looks, you can really do a lot with one palette. I'd say not to choose favorites, but if I were only gonna pick up one, it would probably be this one. Yeah, it's got a nice soft case, but it's not squishy, it's not gonna show dirt or anything like that. And again, those ones are magnetic. So those ones are magnetic. Now, last up, this is just a fun one that we chose for our fall pop-up. This is the Profusion Cosmetics Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles palette, and it's got ooze in it, which we love. Very fun. And it's a 24 shade palette, as you see. And look at this. Just beautiful, this color story. And it is like a color story too. It's not just, you know, a monochromatic green. You've got these rich like orange and red. You've got deeper shades. This palette blends so well too. It's really just a fantastic palette. It's a good value. We love this one. It does have that plastic closure, but it's a pretty sturdy palette. It's definitely not gonna break. But yeah, I love watching the ooze kind of circle around in there. It's very fun. It's a nice touch. So now for the last three, this is actually a collaboration that we did with a shop called Tip Top Palette Shop. I don't know if you've ever heard of them. Yeah, are you familiar with them? Oh, okay. Yeah, definitely let Cupcake know that we say hi if you do check in. But these are actually custom palettes that Tip Top Palette Shop made. Yeah, they are ColourPop shades, and they're actually ColourPop palettes. So this is a nice way to kind of reuse things. It sends less things to the landfill or the garbage or wherever. So the first one is a Nightmare Before Christmas palette. Now, I believe that ColourPop made one of these a couple years ago, and I think it was really well received at the time, but a lot of people didn't feel like the color story had a lot to do with the movie or things like that. So Tip Top Palette Shop took it upon themselves to redesign it. So as you can see, some of these shades are the same. Like I believe this one and this one, maybe this one and this one. I'm not entirely sure. But some of the shades are the same, and then some are brought in from other ColourPop palettes to make more of a cohesive, true to the movie kind of color story. Yeah. I personally think this one is beautiful. I know Cupcake is very sweet, and she puts a lot of thought into the palettes that she makes, and so I feel like these are very special. Now, next up is a redesign of the Plush Like Me palette, and this is one that I don't believe ColourPop sells anymore. Same with the Nightmare Before Christmas. Now, this one, I tell you, this palette, the original one didn't do a lot for me. It was kind of all very similar. Look at this one though. It's got some grays, it's got red, purple, and some neutrals. It's got like a little bit of everything, and I feel like it really pops. Yeah, I feel like if you're going for the kind of like grungy theme, like I believe they were with this palette, I think this really fits the bill, as they say. Yeah. This one is also just gorgeous. And this is the larger pans of ColourPop palettes, and they of course are magnetic, which is how they made them at the Tip Top palette shop. So with that, we have the last one. Now this is obviously their Smokin' Hot palette. This is their mega palette size, as they call them. Now this one I might have saved the best for last. I am incredibly biased because obviously I do love fall palettes. But look at this. Yeah. This palette was originally all orange and reds. And look at it now. Yeah. She did this. She made this all in a day. I know. Some people just have a knack for redesigning palettes, and I think that's great. Yeah. Yeah, I really love this one. I think it's gorgeous. Yeah. So now, sorry, I bumped into you again. Now, we will talk pricing, but again, you don't have to purchase anything. I'm just required to tell you what our pricing options are. So, the way that pricing works is that if you were to buy each palette individually, so say you wanted to just buy, let's see, say you wanted to buy the Glaminatrix Sugar and Spice, which I mean, highly, highly, highly recommend. If you wanted to buy this one, it would be $25. Still a good price because the original palette is, I believe it's like 50 or 60, and then plus, you know, worldwide shipping and things like that. The price adds up. So, if you were to buy 2 palettes, say these two, they'd be $20 each. 3 palettes, which actually we count these as one palette together. You can buy them separate, but we count them as one together. $15 each. Add another $10 each, and that's how low they get. So really, you could spend $25 on one, or $40 on 4 palettes. Which, I mean, some people might call it girl math, but, you know, the holidays are coming up. It could be good to get a gift for someone. Maybe they're hard to shop for. Maybe this is something that they're just dipping their toes into. I will say that we do have limited quantities of the ones from Tip Top Palette Shop. We actually only have 2 left, which these are our testers, so these don't go anywhere. But we have 2 left. So if you were to get those, I would recommend it because I don't think they'll stick around for very long. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Again, you don't have to buy anything right now. If you're, you know, not feeling it, you're not feeling it. I'm not that pushy. I get paid the same either way. But yeah, thank you for coming to my fall palette pop-up. Yeah, it's been a blast for me too. I really love this. Yeah, I think this has been really, really fun. And again, if you do want to purchase any of these things, just let me know. I'm happy to help you out. Yeah. Okay. We'll get you taken care of.